This video is only for those who want to ship from US to Kenya. Please don't ask me if we ship to Nigeria, if we ship to Cameroon. No, we only ship to Kenya. So today I'm just going to answer the commonest questions that we get, especially in air shipping. I'll do another video, so stick around, that is going to answer regarding air shipping. So, sorry, ocean shipping. So air shipping, the first question we get is how much does it cost? This question is the commonest. So let me explain. So it's $14.99 from Texas. We have a warehouse in Texas. We have a warehouse in Delaware, and we have a warehouse in Oregon. So in Texas, it's $14.99 a kilo, which is all inclusive of taxes and duties. In Delaware, if you see where Delaware is, we have to put those things in a truck, take them to New York or JFK, and then fly them to Kenya. Of course, that increases the cost. So from Delaware, you pay $16.99. But here's the good thing. In Delaware, you're paying no sales tax. So even if you're buying something that is worth $100, you're already saving yourself, can I say, about anywhere between $8 and $11 just because you used a tax-free address. So that is important. So you will see that variation of $2, and simply is because from Delaware, we have to track those goods for 2 hours up north to JFK, and then ship them to you. So that's one of the commonest questions. The second question is, how is chargeable weight determined? I need you to pay attention to this. Assuming that somebody has 75 pounds dumbbell for working out, call it 50 kilo dumbbell. It's probably the size of my Contigo, maybe slightly bigger, maybe it's this big, but it's 50 kilos. On the other side, think somebody who has a beach ball, a really huge beach ball. It's easily 10 times the size of the dumbbell, but the dumbbell could be 100, even 1,000 times heavier. So when it comes to logistics, whether it's by truck, whether it's by rail, whether it's by ocean, and by air, uh, each of those methods, they have a formula of calculating really how much should you be charged. Imagine if you had 100 beach balls, they will fill up the whole aircraft, but probably don't even have 2 kilos worth of beach balls, right? Of course, aircraft is not going to make, or the airline is not going to make money doing that, or shipping your 1,000 beach balls. They have to come up with a formula that is going to make the flight profitable. And this is international. It's not just Kentex. If you go to FedEx, if you go to post office, if you go to UPS, the first thing they take is a tape measure. They measure your box, then they put it on the scale. So the reason why they're doing the two is because they're trying to determine what is chargeable weight. So for shipments that are going international, the formula is the volume of that box divided by 306, and that gives you chargeable weight in kilos. For local or domestic flights, say for instance, I want to ship something by air from Texas to Florida, it is the same formula, which is the volume of the box divided by 366. That's the variation. You notice that you are dividing by 306 if it's international, and you're dividing by 306 if it's local. But don't worry about that. Most things really don't have to worry about volume weight unless you are shipping a car seat, unless you are shipping a stroller. Now that time you have to worry about volume weight. But most things really, they're just charged based on dead weight. That is the weight that when you put it on the scale, that weight that you read, that is what you are charged. Most, can I say, good 80% of things that we ship by air, really you never have to worry about volumetric weight. Things like phones, things like laptops, things like can I say, a lotion here, those things, you really don't need to worry much about volumetric weight. Um, the next commonest question is, how long does it take? So every week on Monday, every week on Monday is our cutoff. So in other words, we ship once a week. If your package got to our warehouse on Tuesday, it will sit with us here for a week before it can leave next week on Wednesday. In fact, it's going to sit here for 8 days. We only ship once a week. Monday is the cutoff. And it's important to understand that, because you might think that we are delaying your goods or your goods have delayed. Say, for instance, your package got to us here on Tuesday, and then it's not gonna leave the United States until next week on Wednesday, because we ship out on Wednesday. So Monday is the cutoff. Anything that comes after Monday, it has to wait for the next week's shipment. Then after goods have departed, now this is Wednesday, we ask you to give us 7 to 14 working days. Now I'm sure you are wondering, why 7 to 14 working days? I thought a flight from US to Kenya usually is like 2 days. And I have an answer for you. So cargo does not go the same way the passengers' flights go. It is much slower. So the first thing is, when we tender our goods, they have to go through TSA, they have to go through customs, then they're accepted by the airlines. That's number one. And that process sometimes can take a day or two. Then from there, cargo aircraft, they don't, can I say, they don't go like passenger jets. It can take off from Dallas area. And sometimes you might see the same aircraft went and stopped in JFK, New York. Then 2 days later, it has taken off, and now you can see it's somewhere, let's say it's in the Middle East, it's in Europe, it's in the UK, depending on which airline you used. Then it will sit there for another day or two, sometimes even 3. Then it will take off again, now from Europe, from Middle East to Nairobi. Remember, Africa, can I say Kenya, we are such a small economy compared to, for instance, Europe, Middle East, or the Americas. I'm sure for those who have traveled, whenever you compare those economies, and then when you land in Jomo Kenyatta, I'm sure it shocks you just how small tiny Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is. You know what that tells you? It's not like we have cargo aircraft coming there several times in a day. Sometimes maybe once or twice, or maybe a handful a week. That's how tiny the economy is. Let me give you an example. In Dallas, Fort Worth, probably they get, can I say, maybe 100 cargo aircrafts per day from all over the world or going all over the world. In Nairobi, I can tell you, some of the airlines that we use, they only go to Nairobi once. So if you miss that flight for some reason, say for instance, it's overbooked. If you miss that flight, you're probably gonna catch the next week of flight. And that is why we asked you to give us 7 to 14 working days. You can see the process. Then once goods land in Kenya, then we have to clear customs. That process can take a day or two. Then we have goods in our warehouse. Then we have to deconsolidate and start calling you to come and pick them up, or we deliver to you, whichever method that you choose. So I want you to understand the reason why we ask for 7 to 14 working days. But here is the tip. If you want to get your shipment the fastest, and it's the only thing that we are striving, every time we are trying to improve the speed. Number one is make sure that, I would say, if you want your goods to come next week, please order your goods around Wednesday, Thursday. Latest Thursday. Amazon will deliver your goods a lot of times within a day or two. Wednesday, to me, it's your best bet, so that we get those goods by Friday or Monday. worst case scenario, and then they depart on Wednesday. That's tip number one. Tip number two is every time, and please, 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 I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure you log into your Kentex cargo account. Give us your tracking number. Let me tell you what you're doing when you're giving us a tracking number. You are telling me, or you're telling us, that you went on Amazon, you went on apple.com, you went on hp.com, you wherever else that you shop, you went there and you bought something, and this is the tracking number. If you don't tell us, we also don't know that you shipped. That's number one. Then we may not even know who you are. It's funny that there are people who would call and they say, Hunikubuki, it's me, ni mimi. And I get it. I get it. I will tell you, I love that kind of a relationship where you actually feel that we know who you are. But when you give us that tracking number, first of all, you have eliminated chances that your name can be confused with somebody else's name. John Minor, John Mwangi, Peter Mboro, Francis Otieno. Like, some of these names are way too common that if you don't tell us and we try to figure out which John Mwangi this is, and we can see 20 John Mwangis, we put that package on hold, waiting to know who is the receiver. You might be thinking that we delayed your goods, but before your shipment gets to the warehouse, as soon as your seller has sent you the tracking number, just log into your Kentex cargo account, give us that tracking number. Please do so without failure, because we get, can I tell you, we have, can I say, hundreds of packages that has been in our US warehouse for more than a year, still unidentified. Why? Somebody went online, you shopped, you did not even put your first name or your last name or your phone number, you just put Kentex cargo. It's like you're shipping with FedEx and then you address to FedEx. Like, who does it go to? We don't know. We can't ship it to Kenya if it's not identified. In other words, even if it came to Kenya, who is Kentex Cargo? We are Kentex Cargo. It's not our package. So I can tell you, in our warehouse here in the US, we have hundreds of packages unidentified. And the only thing that those people need to do, even today, if you log in and the tracking number you got from the company that you shipped from, you add it in your account. Now that time we are able to tell, oh, this package that came here without a name was actually supposed to be for John Doe, John Smith, John Mwangi. You get the point. But without them being identified, we don't ship them. So when you go online, check out, and you don't give us the tracking number, you don't create a notification, you don't tell us that you shopped. Can I tell you, we are also shocked when we see what we have received and we don't know who it belongs to. We assign something called a warehouse code. This warehouse code only goes to people who are in Kenya. If you're in the US, you don't get a warehouse code. Warehouse code is for identifying people who are in the US. So go to kentexcargo.com, create a shipping account. If you're in Kenya, you get a warehouse code. If you're in the US, we are going to ask you who is your receiver in Kenya. And then your receiver in Kenya will get a warehouse code. So that's how that works. Let me tackle the next question is, where are you located in the US? We have 3 warehouses. One is in Dallas, Texas. It is the fastest and it's the cheapest. I'll tell you why it's the fastest. Dallas Fort Worth Airport is among the busiest, can I say, in the world. It has to be among the top 10 in the world. It's among the busiest airports in the world, connecting basically any country in the world. So there is a lot of what I would say liftoff capacity from Dallas Fort Worth compared to some small airports. Like we have a warehouse in Portland. We have a warehouse in Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon airport is so tiny that literally we would have to track goods. We have to put them in a truck and either send them to LA, which is Los Angeles, or send them to Seattle, Washington, or the third option is to send them to Las Vegas. So you can see, and that is the reason why our warehouse in Portland, Oregon, we are not doing air. At the moment, we are only doing ocean. So if you live in Portland, Oregon, or if you live in Oregon in general, you live in California, you live in, let me say, East Coast or, sorry, West Coast or Pacific Northwest, don't go buy goods from a physical store. In any case, if you ship your goods to our Delaware warehouse, you don't pay sales tax. Delaware has no sales tax. Oregon does not have sales taxes too, but we don't do air shipping from there. So ship them straight to our warehouse in Wilmington, Delaware. And here is the good part. I can tell you maybe 70% of what we ship actually comes from Amazon. We know this. Amazon is becoming the giant. Much of what we ship comes from Amazon. Amazon is so efficient when it comes to delivery timelines. There is nothing Amazon ships without giving you a tracking number. 100%. If it's sold on Amazon, it has a tracking number. So once you bought something from Amazon, you will get a tracking number. Just make sure you log into your Kentex cargo account. Tell us that you bought something. Put your values of what you bought, because that is important. Then when those goods come, we scan them. We use a scanner. Once we scanned your goods, you are able to, once it matches the information that you input, you give us a tracking number. Usually it starts with TBA, that's Amazon Logistics, or sometimes they can use UPS. It starts with 1Z. I said Z because of those who are in Kenya. If you live in the US, it start with 1Z. That is UPS. Copy paste that tracking number, go to kentexcargo.com, log into your account, give us that tracking number. Tell us what you bought, because it's important, and I'll tell you why. When we scan, we see what you input. So if, say, for instance, you bought a Contigo mug like this one, we are expecting to find a Contigo mug based on that tracking number. Now, if we open and found a plastic water bottle, for instance, then we know we have a discrepancy. We will let you know. And that is why it's important to tell us what you bought. Here's the other thing. It's also important to tell us the value of your goods in case something get lost and things get lost. Can I handle this head on? Because it's the next question. Can my goods get lost? We are human beings. And even when you shop goods from Amazon or wherever you've ever shopped your goods from, once in a while, you will keep tracking your package and it's not arriving. Sometimes it's saying actually it's delivered. I will tell you, few minutes ago, we just received like 6 boxes from the very next warehouse. Those are 6 customers, Kentex customers. They shipped goods. They did not put the suit number. I'm seated right now in our Dallas area warehouse. They did not put the suite number, which is part of the address. So goods came, and the trucking company, the first warehouse that belongs to these 2120, which there are 8 of them. The first warehouse, they dumped everything there. They did not know the suite number, so they basically assumed, and they scanned as delivered. You shipped goods to us, you skipped the suite number, then you did not give us the tracking number. You see, now that time, your package is very likely or to get lost. It can get lost. It has no correct tracking number in the system. So we can't tell if you shipped anything or not. It's in a different warehouse. We're in suite 300. That is suite 100. So it's in 2 warehouses down the road, and we don't know. Then when your package has delayed and you haven't received any notification, then you start figuring out what happened. You're calling us asking if we received a package, and we're telling you, no, we don't have any of your packages. Oh, but it says it's delivered. It's because more than likely the tracking number you gave us is not correct. or you did not put the correct warehouse suite number. So that's why it's that important. Now, in case we receive your package, we scan it, we acknowledge that we have received your package. Even if anything happened to that package and you already had given us that information and it matches, you cannot lose your package. You cannot lose, can I say, you cannot lose your money. At that time, we are responsible, you are not. Your part is that you have to give us the tracking number. And of course, when you're doing that, give us the correct description of what you shipped. I will tell you, we also deal with a lot of fraud. It's not once, twice, or thrice somebody have, or we've opened, we've scanned, and especially people who are doing fraud, they are very, can I say they're very diligent. They have put their tracking number and everything in the system. You track, it tells you it's a MacBook. You open the box, you find it's a book. Not a MacBook, a book. Then, of course, contact the customer and then they'll say, oh, maybe they made a mistake. They made a mistake of not shipping a MacBook, they shipped a book from Amazon. See the kind of fraud that we deal with. It's the reason why we insist you must give us the tracking number, please, and describe what is in your box. Remember, you shopped alone and then you shipped to our warehouse. Just do that part for us. We will use that information to serve you better. Um, the, now, Delaware, let me talk about Delaware. Delaware is a tax-free state. There is no sales tax in Delaware. You can shop and ship from Delaware without paying sales tax. That's the beauty of Delaware. Let me give you an example, talking about a MacBook or a phone, and we get these questions a lot. Say, for instance, you're buying a phone worth $1,000. If you shift that to, say, for instance, you have a shipper in Washington State, uh, sales tax in Washington State, and you're going to pay that tax even if you're in Kenya, is 10.25%. It means out of $1,000, you're losing $1 or $2. If you use a shipper who is in California, for instance, California has the most expensive sales taxes, goes up to almost 11%, 10.75%. It means that you are losing $107 just because of where the shipper is located. If you use New York, for instance, and New York has a lot of shippers, it's 8.9% sales tax. It means that you're losing $89 per every $1,000 you're spending. So even if you're going to ship a phone, you're losing $89. If you use our Delaware warehouse, you don't pay sales tax. So, I mean, do the difference. A phone is not even a kilo. By the time it gets there, the amount that you'll have saved by shipping it using our Delaware warehouse, it's like it's gonna ship for free and you're still gonna make some money. I hope that is making sense. It's like you're saving money and then your shipment was literally free because the amount that you're going to save in sales tax is enough to ship it all the way to Kenya. Finally, it's where do I collect my goods in Kenya? So air shipping, you collect your goods at Westland, 65 Modithi Road. That's where you collect your goods. We also can deliver to your home or wherever you want. Anywhere in Kenya, we deliver with Fago Courier. If you're within Nairobi, can I say the about 5 kilometers from city center, we also have local riders who will deliver your goods to your location. Thank you for your time. I know it took longer than I had promised, but I hope I tackled a lot of questions that people ask about air shipping from US to Kenya. And next, I will be doing a video about ocean shipping, and I will show you how you actually can I say, ship for free. Follow for more.